This is the map of Tarawa, which is the main population centre. Yes, there are 33 coral atolls and one island which make up Kiribati, but really, of the 105,000 Kiribati people, they're mainly on Tarawa, which is this area along here, and it is just one long coral atoll, joined by a causeway, or a number of causeways, which I think the Japanese built. And I'll show you some pictures later to show you how crazy it is when people say, oh, they should just move to higher land, you know. But it is, these are just these are all the little islands all the way up here. But this is the main population centre, is this amazing long thin coral atoll. And the main population centres are at Bariki and at Baso. And the thing that you very quickly learn about Kiribati is that TI is pronounced S. So Baso is spelled Beto, and of course Kiribati is spelled Kiribati, but it's never pronounced that way. So that's what it looks like, and Maria showed you where it was. It's in the Central Pacific. The only way to get to it really is you fly to Fiji and then you fly up to Kiribati. And I was determined to go there because Kiribati is going to be very iconic for the whole issue of climate change, because not only is it going to be one of the very first nation states to be seriously affected by climate change to the extent that, you know, populations will have to move, but it's the first country to receive the new year every year. It sort of really hit the headlines in the millennium, where Kiribati was the first country to get the new millennium, and so it's iconic in lots of ways. The way you get your drinking water and your water for agriculture, etc., is you put in a bore, and as you can see from these, they're coconuts. Salination the salt water has already got into those clear lenses, as they call them, clear water lenses under the coral atoll, and it's already a serious issue for agriculture, and it's a serious issue for trying to have a cup of coffee, can I say. I made the mistake of thinking, oh, you just boil the water, it'll be fine, you know, and I boiled it twice. I'm always very sensible about these things, and I made a cup of coffee. It was hideous because I was basically making coffee with salt water. The Kiribati people get used to it, but they do say that they get diarrhoea and things like that a lot, but they're basically drinking salty water. Now, the second thing about, I'll show you the next, these are all just taken out of the co-ends, but you can see you don't see this in healthy Pacific Islands. You don't see coconut trees without their tops. That's not the way they die. Every politician or activist that we spoke to, and we had lots and lots of meetings. Phil is an absolute taskmaster. He organised, we had 4 or 5 meetings every day. Everyone said, I'd say to them, what's the main issue confronting you? And they all said water. So, like a lot of climate change issues for countries, it's not going to be, it's going to be something other than just disappearing. It's going to be that they won't be able to live there because there will be no access to potable water. And of course, it's worse on some of the outer islands. The storm surges and the inundations that Maria showed so clearly in those photographs that she had. And so people are coming in from the outer islands onto the main population centre of Tarawa. So there's terrible overpopulation, dreadful overpopulation. there's nowhere to bury the dead. And so, I mean, people make dreadful jokes about drinking grandma and things, but in actual fact, wars are being dug through cemeteries, and it's very difficult.
My house was on the lagoon side, and Lisa's house was on the other side. Where our houses used to be was a beautiful place, green all around with big frangipani trees and their yellowish, reddish and white flowers, breadfruit trees, coconut trees, pandanus trees and the medicinal noni trees. These are the trees that provided us with food and drink and even decorations and local medicines. Not only that, they also gave us good shade and during the day. I remember Lisa's place was so nice because there was a big pond with long greenish grass at the bank of the pond where we used to play hide and seek. The view of this spot was awesome, especially in the morning when the sun started to come up and the reflection of the sun on the pond was gorgeous. When we were young, we used to swim and play with other kids in this pond because it made us cool during the day. When we recall those times, we would say that we were so lucky. We really enjoyed what we had that has gone now, and the new generation doesn't know how beautiful the Burgmann village was. Lisa told me in a very stressed voice that she went to the place where a family used to live. She was shocked. She noticed a big difference because she had been away from home for nearly 20 years. She couldn't figure out easily where her house used to be because the place looked so different. The trees had gone and the coconut trees had no leaves, only trunks. The beautiful pond was replaced by seawater. At the spot where she used to live, the house had disappeared and there was only well water and a small coconut tree left. When Lisa finished telling me the story about their place, she looked me in the eyes and said, "And your place was replaced by white sand and sea." I just smiled back at her. We both had tears in our eyes. We both laughed to cover up what we felt at that time. By Teresa Eliada.